You know someone like this. They train when they're tired, when it's raining, when nobody's watching. And here's the annoying part.
They're probably not more motivated than you, seriously.
Most days they don't even feel like training either. So if it's not motivation, what is actually different inside their brain? For years, I just thought disciplined people had more willpower. In school, they always got better grades and they just were more excited to train. They were eating healthy, they were going out and doing stuff. But it turns out that's not what the science says. The biggest difference isn't their personality, it's how their brains have been trained. And once you understand how it works, discipline starts making a whole lot of sense. There are three things happening. Let's start with number one. At the front of your brain, there's something called the prefrontal cortex. Now, you don't need to remember the name. Just think of it as the part that helps you do the things that you don't want to do. It's what gets you out of bed when you're feeling sleepy. It's what gets you into the gym after work. And it's what stops you from ordering from Uber Eats when you're feeling like binging. That's why you've probably had this scenario happen. So it's Sunday night and you tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna change my life now. And then you order something from Uber Eats and everything slips into diet. And on Tuesday, you're like, okay, it's actually gonna happen this week. Now, you weren't lying to yourself on Sunday. You just kept relying on the most expensive part of your brain. And disciplined people don't do that forever. They do something much smarter. Now, if this isn't making sense to you, let's look at part two. So when you repeat the same behavior over and over again, your brain starts looking for a shortcut. Instead of making a fresh decision every day, it turns that behavior into a habit. Think about driving home. Have you realized that you don't have to look at the street names, open your GPS, you just know exactly where to go? And do you ever realize that you just park your car in the driveway and don't even remember the details of the trip, you just end up there? That's because your brain has moved that task into autopilot. Training works the same way. At first, every session feels like a decision, and a hard one at that, but eventually you just train because that's just what you do. And that's the real secret. Disciplined people didn't win a genetic lottery. They repeated the action enough so that their brain stopped asking the question. And before someone says, what about the 21-day rule? Honestly, science doesn't support that. For most people, it takes weeks, sometimes months, even longer. The harder the habit you're trying to force, the longer it takes. So this is probably my favorite part. Most people think it goes like this. You feel motivated, then you take action. But that's actually backwards. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. People also think that dopamine is the brain's reward chemical, but it's not really. It's actually more about going after something, making progress. That's why sitting on the couch and trying to feel motivated doesn't really do anything. The brain isn't actively chasing something. But the moment you stand up and then you put on your shoes or you grab your training equipment and you go to the gym or the calisthenics park, that's when everything starts changing. And that's why I tell people, don't commit to the workout. Commit to the actions that you have to take leading up to that event. Commit to going through the doors of the gym. Commit to doing your first set, because once you're in motion, once you actually start to move, your brain usually just does the rest. So let's put all of this together. Disciplined people, those guys that you look up to in your workplace, school, at the gym, they aren't superheroes. They've just built a system that works. They stop relying on motivation. They repeat behaviors until they become automatic. And they make starting feel so easy that they rarely lose the first battle. And eventually, something interesting happens. You stop trying to become a disciplined person and you just become a person that does the thing. And it's simply just who you are now. And honestly, this video isn't really just about calisthenics or the gym or getting lean. It's about the trust and the promises that you keep to yourself. So if you've been beating yourself up because you think that you're lazy, maybe you're asking the wrong question. Instead of asking, how do I become more motivated? Ask, how do I make this behavior easier to repeat? Because motivation fades, but the brain adapts. And that's what disciplined people are really taking advantage of. So if you enjoyed this video, hit like, hit subscribe, watch a few of my other videos. I've got to do more about calisthenics and training in general. But other than that, I'll see you in the next one.